There's a memo circulating right now inside Walmart's regional distribution centers, and it's about 11 specific pantry items that are being quietly pulled, rerouted, or repriced before August 1st. Most shoppers won't notice until the shelf tag changes. By then, the number one item on this list, the one already sitting in almost every American kitchen, will be nearly impossible to find at the price you paid last spring. That's number one. We'll get there. Here's what's actually happening. Between the tariff adjustments that took effect earlier this year, the drought damage across the Midwest grain belt, and a wave of supplier contract renegotiations Walmart quietly finalized in Q2, 11 pantry staples are being repositioned inside the country's largest grocery chain, and the window closes on August 1st. The USDA's most recent food price outlook is projecting grocery inflation to run 3.4% above last year, but on these specific 11 items, the real-world jump is closer to double digits. 11 items, each chosen for a concrete, verifiable reason. And the closer we get to number one, the harder this gets to ignore. Number 11. Canned tuna in oil. There's a specific SKU disappearing from the center aisle, and most shoppers won't notice until it's already gone. Walmart's private label canned tuna in oil, the 5-ounce cans that have hovered around $1.28 for nearly 2 years, is being quietly replaced by water-packed variants that ship cheaper and stack denser. Industry pricing data shows oil-packed tuna is up 14% wholesale since March, driven partly by soybean oil volatility and partly by Thai processing costs. Here's the part almost nobody's talking about. Oil-packed tuna carries roughly 40% more calories per can than water-packed, and the fat content dramatically extends satiety, which is exactly why it earned its spot as a survival staple long before it was a pantry convenience. Buy 4 to 6 cans this week. Store them label side down in a cool cabinet, not the pantry floor, and rotate the oldest to the front. Shelf life is genuinely 5 years when kept below 75 Fahrenheit. Hold this one in mind. At number 4, it connects to something most people completely miss. Number 10, iodized table salt. The one thing nobody thinks about, until they can't get it. The Morton facility in Louisiana had a partial production disruption this spring that most consumers never heard about, and Walmart's inventory reports show iodized salt turnover has slowed to roughly 60% of normal replenishment pace. That 26-ounce blue canister you've bought 100 times? It's being deprioritized in favor of pink Himalayan and sea salt SKUs that carry a higher margin. The reason this matters isn't taste, it's iodine. The CDC has documented a measurable resurgence in iodine deficiency in American women of childbearing age since 2020, and iodized salt is still the single most reliable dietary source in the country. Grab 2 canisters. Store them dry, sealed, away from any heat source. Iodized salt has an indefinite shelf life if kept from moisture. The best buy date refers to the iodine, not the salt itself. The next one involves a price gap that's genuinely hard to justify. Number 9. White rice. 20-pound bags. Picture week 3 of living entirely on what's in your pantry right now. What's still keeping your family fed? Walmart's 20-pound bags of long-grain white rice, the ones that ran $9.44 and through most of last year, are showing up in fewer stores and at higher price points, with some regional markets already seeing $13. 20 as the new baseline. The USDA reported a 6% contraction in U.S. long-grain rice acreage this planting season, and Vietnamese import channels have tightened significantly due to shipping rate hikes across the Pacific. Rice isn't on this list because it's cheap. It's here because a 20-pound bag delivers roughly 30,000 calories at a per-calorie cost lower than almost any other shelf-stable food in the American grocery system. Buy 1 bag, transfer half into food-grade 5-gallon buckets with oxygen absorbers. Stored properly at 60 to 70 Fahrenheit, white rice remains edible for 25 to 30 years. This is not an exaggeration. It's documented in BYU's long-term food storage research. This next one will challenge an assumption you've probably had for years. Number 8. Peanut butter. Creamy, Full fat. The peanut butter you grew up with is not the peanut butter Walmart is stocking heavily anymore. Full fat, creamy peanut butter, the classic 40-ounce jars, is being partially displaced by reduced fat and powdered peanut butter alternatives that ship at a fraction of the weight. But here's the twist. The 2026 U.S. peanut crop is projected 8% below the 5-year average due to drought stress in Georgia and Alabama, and the futures market is already reflecting it. Peanut butter earns its place for a reason most survival lists overlook. It delivers 190 calories per 2 tablespoon serving, is shelf-stable unopened for 2 years, and requires zero cooking. In an outage scenario, that combination is genuinely irreplaceable. 2 jars, minimum, store unopened in a dark cabinet. Once opened, refrigerated jars last 3 to 4 months without oil separation becoming a problem. Number 7. Rolled oats. Old-fashioned, take a breath here. We're at the halfway point. Everything from here forward carries significantly more weight. And the number one item, the one I hinted at in the opening, is something you almost certainly have in your kitchen right now, but almost certainly don't have enough of old-fashioned rolled oats. Not instant, not quick, are one of the quietest disappearances in this entire cycle. Great value 42-ounce canisters have been showing intermittent regional outages since April, and Quaker's 18-ounce rolled oats are being reduced in facing space in favor of flavored instant packets that carry roughly triple the per-ounce margin. Meanwhile, Canadian oat exports, where a significant portion of U.S. supply originates, are down 11% year-over-year according to Statistics Canada, a Harvard-Th. Chan School of Public Health meta-analysis found that regular oat consumption is associated with a measurable reduction in LDL cholesterol. But that's not why oats are on this list. They're here because one canister feeds a family of 4 breakfasts for over a week. And stored in mylar with oxygen absorbers, rolled oats last 25 to 30 years. Buy 2 canisters. Transfer one to airtight storage today. Keep the other in rotation. We've been talking about survival. This next one is about something different, morale. Number 6. Instant coffee. Full caffeine there will come a week. And if you've lived through a storm, a power outage, or a genuine supply disruption, you already know this, where the smell of coffee is the difference between a household holding together and a household unraveling. Instant coffee. Folgers Classic, Nescafé Clásico, and Walmart's Great Value equivalent, is quietly being reduced in shelf facing at Walmart in favor of single-serve pods that require electricity, water pressure, and a working machine. Global coffee futures hit a 47-year high earlier this year, and Brazilian Arabica production is projected 12% below trend due to prolonged drought. Instant coffee dissolves in cold water. It stores for 2+ years unopened. It requires zero equipment. In a genuine emergency, that combination is worth more than the caffeine itself. It's worth the routine, the ritual, the anchor of normal. One large jar. Sealed, cool, dark. That's it. Number 5. Honey, raw, unfiltered. The next 4 items, including this one, are where the list stops being about groceries and starts being about strategy grod. Unfiltered honey is being repositioned inside Walmart's grocery aisle in a way that most shoppers won't recognize until they read the label. Ultra-filtered, blended, and imported honey, often cut with rice syrup or corn syrup, as multiple FDA investigations have documented, is taking more shelf real estate, while genuine domestic raw honey is being pushed either to premium price tiers or out of stock entirely. Here's what makes honey uniquely valuable. It does not spoil. Archaeologists have found edible honey in Egyptian tombs over 3,000 years old. It carries antimicrobial properties, treats minor wounds, soothes coughs, and delivers concentrated glucose calories the human body absorbs almost immediately. 1 32-ounce jar of raw domestic honey. Read the label, look for raw and U.S. origin. Store at room temperature. If it crystallizes, warm the jar in a water bath. That's your entire storage protocol. Number 4. Dry white beans, Navy, Great Northern. Cannellini. Remember when I mentioned the tuna, connects to something at number 4. Here it is. Dry white beans. 1 pound of navy, or Great Northern beans, delivers roughly 540 calories and 100 grams of protein for under $2 at current Walmart pricing. Pair that pound of beans with 2 cans of oil-packed tuna, and you have a complete protein meal cycle for a family of 4 for approximately $4.50. But here's what's happening. Walmart is reducing shelf facing on 1 pound and 2 pound bagged dry beans in favor of pre-cooked canned beans that carry roughly 6 times the per-serving cost. The 2026 U.S. dry bean crop is projected 4% lower on reduced acreage, and Michigan Navy bean stocks, the primary domestic source, are the tightest they've been in over a decade, by 4 pounds. Store in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers. Properly stored dry beans remain edible for 25 to 30 years. This next one connects to number 1 in a way that will make the final reveal make complete sense. Number 3. Powdered milk, non-fat dry milk. One thing before we reach the top 2, something most channels covering this topic will never say directly. The entire premise of stockpiling fails without one specific principle: caloric density paired with nutritional completeness. You cannot survive on rice alone. You cannot survive on beans alone. You need fat, protein, calcium, vitamin D, and complete amino acids. And there is one shelf-stable product that delivers all of them for pennies per serving: non-fat dry milk. Walmart's Great Value powdered milk and Carnation's dry milk product are being reduced in visibility as fluid milk margins improve for the chain. But dry milk stores unopened for 20 years in a sealed Mylar bag with oxygen absorbers, and 1 pound reconstitutes into roughly 1 gallon of drinkable milk. For a family with children, this single item transforms a pantry from food supply into actual nutrition. 2 pounds minimum. Sealed, cool, dark. This one and number 1 together form the most efficient combination on this entire list. Number 2. All-purpose flour. All-purpose flour, the most ordinary item in your kitchen, and the one Walmart is quietly restructuring across the entire chain. The 5-pound Great Value all-purpose flour bag has been the anchor SKU of the baking aisle for 2 decades. Right now, that anchor is shifting. The 2026 U.S. hard red winter wheat harvest was hit by both drought and disease pressure, and Kansas, the country's largest wheat-producing state, reported yields roughly 9% below the 5-year average. Here's what most people don't realize. 5 pounds of flour, combined with water, salt, and a heat source, produces roughly 20 loaves of unleavened bread, enough to feed a family of 4 for over a week. It is the single most versatile shelf-stable ingredient in Western cooking, and its price has already climbed 6% at Walmart since April. Buy 2 5-pound bags. Transfer 1 immediately to Mylar with oxygen absorbers. Flour is porous and vulnerable to weevils in original packaging. Stored properly, all-purpose flour lasts 10 years. Now, the one I've been building toward. Number 1. Granulated white sugar. The item already sitting in every American kitchen. The one almost nobody has enough of. The one Walmart is repositioning most aggressively before August 1st. Here's the data. U.S. sugar prices are up 8.7% year-over-year, according to USDA ERS data, and the 2026 sugarcane harvest in Louisiana and Florida is projected 5% below trend. Mexican sugar imports, which fill roughly 15% of U.S. domestic demand, have been throttled by a new tariff schedule that took effect in Q2, and Walmart's private label 4-pound sugar bag is already showing price adjustments in over half of surveyed store locations. But here's why sugar is number 1, and not any of the 10 items before it. Sugar is the only pantry staple on this list with an indefinite shelf life. Not 5 years, not 25, indefinite. Stored dry and sealed, granulated white sugar does not spoil, does not degrade nutritionally, and does not lose caloric value. The USDA's food storage guidelines confirm this explicitly. It is the highest density calorie source per dollar of any shelf-stable food in the American grocery system. Roughly 750 calories per pound at under 70 cents per pound. It preserves fruit, extends the shelf life of baked goods, functions as a wound care agent in emergencies, ferments into alcohol for trade or medicinal use, and provides the psychological comfort that keeps morale intact during genuinely difficult weeks. The memo I mentioned in the first 15 seconds of this video, the one circulating inside Walmart's distribution centers. Sugar is the item at the top of that list, and the shelf tags in your local store will reflect it before August 1st. Buy 2 4-pound bags. Transfer one into airtight food-grade containers today. The other stays in rotation. That's the entire protocol. Here's the principle underneath all 11 items: caloric density, nutritional completeness, and indefinite shelf life. Those 3 properties are what separate a grocery run from a genuine pantry. Sugar, flour, powdered milk, beans, honey, oats, rice, salt, peanut butter, coffee, tuna. 11 items. Together, they represent a complete nutritional foundation your family can lean on when the shelves don't cooperate. Start with sugar. Add flour and salt this week. Build the kind of pantry that means your family has options, not because the sky is falling, but because options are what freedom actually looks like in a grocery store that keeps changing the rules. And here's the question, worth carrying with you after this video ends. If the shelf tags at your local Walmart shifted overnight, quietly, without announcement, how many weeks of real food does your kitchen already hold?
This video is only for the educational and information purpose. All the content used in this video is uh, real and authentic and can be changed anytime. The tools and other things that's being used in this video are totally safe and according to the manufacturer policy. Thank you so much.